Good morning, IT Bearcats. This is your academic advisor, Justin Gibson, coming to you live again from my office in the Student Services Center over in 361 Dyer. Fresh off of the long holiday Thanksgiving weekend, and I hope you all had as much chance to get some rest and to eat as much as I did. And so for today's next blog entry, I have someone with me whose face should be familiar, and if not, it definitely will be familiar. This is Chris Cooper. Chris is the new co-op advisor for the IT program. Chris is a UC alum, and he is also a participant of the co-op program, so he knows exactly what you all either are going through or will be going through in the future. So, Chris, thanks for taking some time out to spend with us today.
It's good to be here.
So what we're going to do, as I promised before in the last blog, is we're going to talk about some issues that are going to be very relevant to you as being IT students to help you matriculate through the program and to be very successful. And so with that, we're going to talk, obviously, today about co-op. So really the first thing, Chris, that students talk to me about co-op is if, let's say today is November 26th and they haven't received an offer yet. Should those students be worried?
At this point, students should not be worried. You have to remember, too, that although the term ends, I think the last day of exams is December 14th, employers are still going to hire all the way up through the beginning of January, and we'll still actually have students finding co-op jobs at the beginning of January. So at this point, it's nothing to worry about. You should be at least talking or interviewing with a few companies. So if you haven't heard from any companies or you haven't interviewed recently, you may just want to send me a note and let me know. And so basically what's going to happen is you want to check your mail and your spam folder frequently, especially through the holiday season, because even though you're off from school, employers will still be contacting students. So be sure to go in once a day and just look to see if you have any contacts from employers, and be sure to check the spam folder because that'll often catch employer emails. And then the other thing is, remember that I'm still forwarding resumes. So as you get those nice emails from me saying that a company's looking for additional resumes and you rank it in Place Pro, I will send your resume. And then towards the end, I will start sending a resume packet of remaining students to all of the companies that have hired recently but haven't hired for the spring term. So you should hopefully hear from companies then as well.
That's good news. A lot of our students were worried about finding permanent positions because they haven't heard back and maybe still be interviewing at this point. But it's good to know that they still have a chance, even with about 7 weeks before the next semester begins. So let's say a student has received an offer, but the pay is less than what they were expecting to be making. Is it natural to ask for a higher wage, or should they?
Well, this really goes into two categories. And in short, it's really not okay. It's really not appropriate to ask for additional wages, just because you have to remember that you're competing with other co-op students. And if you ask for additional wage, they may choose a different co-op who's willing to work for less. Now, this doesn't mean that just because you're being paid less that you're not going to have a good experience, because a lot of our best co-op companies are often smaller companies, and these companies oftentimes can't afford to pay a student a very high wage. Now, if you're in the boat of you need more money to be able to pay for relocation, or if you are going to have to drive an hour every day to get to work, then it will be appropriate if they haven't offered any sort of relocation package or travel assistance, then you can ask them if they would be willing to provide some sort of travel assistance. A lot of times this will be laid out in the offer, but if it's not, then feel free to ask.
Good, that's good to know. So let's say that I've got an offer and I've accepted a job. What's next? What do I do now?
So the first step would be to let me know, to send me an email, and you're going to want to include the company name, the contact at the company, their name, their email address, and their phone number. From there, I'll have you placed in our system, and then you should receive a confirmation email within maybe a week or so. After that, you can register your co-op at uc.edu/PAL, and that's where you'll register. By January 4th is the deadline for that. So you'll want to register before then, or you'll be charged a late fee. So you want to get in before that. And then once you're registered in our system, that will register you to be a full-time student with the university. And now, being a full-time student, means that your loans won't go back into repayment, which is nice because I'm sure very few of you want to be paying loans right now. And then it also keeps you as a full-time student in terms of the school, so you don't have to worry about any problems with insurance. You will want to check in with your scholarships. A lot of the times, UC scholarships won't disperse for co-op terms, but this really varies per scholarship. So you just want to check in with all of the scholarships that you have. And then there's also housing. You'll want to take care of any sort of housing that you may have. If it's on-campus housing, a lot of the times they will allow you to get out of housing for that term. Sometimes they'll require a letter, so if you need a letter that says that you will be on co-op, feel free to send me an email.
Thank you for that. Especially going in between the fall and the spring semesters, there is that 3.5 week gap. And let's say if a student is from Cincinnati and their co-op is starting in the spring in Cincinnati, is it possible for them to even begin working before the actual co-op term begins?
Absolutely. So in order to receive co-op credit, you have to work the full terms of the co-op date. But other than that, you're free to work before or after that date as long as you would like. That's between you and the company. A lot of companies will want students to come on part-time, either beforehand or maybe stay part-time during the school period, and this is perfectly acceptable. So
good. Make a little bit extra money.
Exactly.
Over the summer. So many of our students have the opportunity, our freshman students have the opportunity to co-op the first time this summer. Being that the fall semester is almost over and they're all taking the co-op class, what do they need to do right now to prepare?
I'm glad you asked that. So with students that are starting in the summer, you're most likely taking the co-op class now. So this means that by this time that spring rolls around, you may not be in our Place Pro system yet, so it may be hard to communicate with you. So if you want to co-op in the summer, what you need to do is within the first 3 weeks of the spring term, you should make an appointment to meet with me. And you can start making appointments the first or second day of the spring term. And you can call the front desk at the Division of Professional Practice, which is 556-2667. If you want to set up an appointment with me, like I said, be sure to meet with me within the first 3 weeks. During that meeting, we'll go over your resume. You'll want to bring an updated copy of your resume. We'll go over the interview process, any concerns that you have, any companies that you would like to work for, and then we'll also go over the job ranking process that we use in our jobs database.
All right. So for all of you freshmen out there who know for a fact that you want to co-op this summer, you've heard from the man himself exactly what you have to do. So unless you have anything else, Chris, that you wanted to just briefly make them aware of?
Nothing that I can think of right now. If you need to get a hold of me, my email is christopher.cooper, COOPER, @uc.edu. You can call, like I said, if you need to make an appointment, you can call the front desk at 513-556-2667. And if you have any other questions or something that wasn't addressed today, feel free to email me.
All right. Well, Chris, thanks for joining me today, and hopefully our students were able to learn something that's going to be useful for them as they prepare for their co-op. Now, for me, for those of you who still need help either with knowing what classes you need or whatever, you can reach me by email. My email address is justin.gibson@uc.edu, or to make an appointment, you can give us a call at 513-556-2336. So for the next vlog, with the holiday season coming up, I'm not sure when the next one will be, but the next one probably will be with the department head, Dr. Hazem Saeed, to give you some overall updates as far as what the program is coming up with and what the faculty is doing. I know he has some really exciting things to talk to you about. That's going to benefit all of you individually and collectively as students within the IT program. And so when I meet with him, we're going to try to do something a little more interactive. So be prepared to hear more about that in the next upcoming weeks. But if nothing else, good to have you back from your Thanksgiving break. For those of you who are used to the quarter, 10 weeks, we only have a few more weeks to go. So stay strong, keep fighting the good fight. Those of you who are on co-op, keep working hard because it will pay off. And if nothing else, again, I'd like to thank our co-op advisor, Chris Cooper, for coming in today. And I'm Justin Gibson. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thanks.